Staggered lines. Yeah, staggered lines again. You're just lining until you're facing this way. I was like, I gave up on the sun shirt. Usually it cools me off today. It's like, no.
Dude, I love those sun shirts, but lately I don't know why. It makes it worse.
At work, it's been great. It's been a lifesaver. I have to work outside, but today, I don't know if it's because like I'm wearing these or what.
Yeah, I bet you, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably helping not having me.
No air on your feet or your lower legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, even with your steps.
Right.
Use your stamina bar.
All right, guys. So next thing we're going to learn is going to be the side step. So this one usually ends up turning people into crab walkers. So what you'll see happen slowly with a lot of people when they're sidestepping is as they move to the side, they will slowly start to turn, and eventually they're walking like this. They won't shift. It won't be like the left leg comes forward. They'll just stay like this. Is there a place where this is useful? Yes, actually I've seen guys in melees use this to get around to be able to keep their eyes on the field. They'll be moving, and they'll be moving side to side, keeping their back to say like the wall where they can see everything happening. And if I'm fighting someone one-on-one, it's the same thing. If I'm staying far away from them, or if I see that they're winning against me like in power, they're like, no, stay away from me. I'm just to stay back. If I'm winning in points, I'll just keep running away from you and keep striking at you once it gets to a point. Especially if you hurt a lot. Because I want to be able to fight the next guy. But that's not how we're going to do this if I'm standing right in front of my opponent and exchanging with them. Yeah, you want to be able to have a really, strong base. So, the simplest way to explain side steps is direction that you go, or that you're like with the direction you're going is the leg that moves first. Then the other leg follows. So if I'm going to the right, my right leg is going to move first. Whether my right leg is in the front or the back. So if it's in the back, same thing. I don't cross over with my left now, because my left is the front one. If I'm going to the right moves. If the right leg is forward, the right moves. And another one follows. Right? That's the first bit. So, put your dominant leg forward first, get into stance. Alright? So as I step, this leg is going to kick out, and you'll notice it's going to put me in a not great position first. This is the first part. Then this leg follows. A very tiny amount. If you overcompensate it, if I step here and I shoot this leg, now I'm standing in a position that's easily tipped over and thrown around, right? And that's not what we want. What I'm going to do is, I'll step now for if you start to cross your legs though, there's a way around that, but I want to first see if I have to even show or teach that. Because that makes it overcomplicated, but it helps. So first thing is, you guys are going to step to y'all's right, not my right. Put right leg out, left leg follows. Take it slowly as well, just so at the very start I can see if you end up having over crossed feet. Now, moving to the left. Left leg will go out first, and the right leg will follow. Start doing that. Michael, you're over crossing feet. So far, so good. All right, other foot forward. Same thing, if you're going to the right leg moves first.
Sort of basic shit is helpful.
So when you do side step, don't stand up more. Keep that
I'll learn how to walk.
All right.
Keep the giant bucket on my head from tipping over.
All right, start coming back the other way. Remember to keep the front and back length of your stance. Remember to keep the stance kind of long. Longer your legs, the longer that stance is probably going to end up being. Wow, of all the footwork movements, I was really expecting the side-to-side to be the difficult one, and I really love when it's not. No, you guys did great on that one. All right, so then the next one is going to be the full step. So, line back up here again. 4. So, full step tends to come more into play when we're dealing with something like longsword. When we're dealing with something like longsword, were to do longsword, what this tends to go into play of is, I have my right leg back, this generates more force because I can put my body into it. This is also really good for crossing a lot of distance. You want to skip 2 ranges, you do a full step. You want to only do 1 range movement, you do the advance. Same thing as when I was telling you before, like the slide, right? I can't touch you. I can almost touch you. But if I were to do a full step right now I'm fully on top of you, right? That can be advantageous if you're trying to get it for grapples and also for power shots. Because if, say, my shield arm is back here, my sword arm is here, the difference here is actually if I don't use you again as a dummy. As well, but I know get well enough so I can swing it hard and not feel bad about it right now. So, if I swing, right, we talked about this. And this still can generate a good amount of force, right? However, if I then add in this one, the shield moves. It can be very advantageous if I make that shield move and make it swing around his body and go for something else. So this is where the full step's going to come into play. Yeah, it's the power attack. Yeah, it's the power attack. Hell yeah. Alright, so, full step. We're not going to add a cut into it yet. Once we get into the cuts and blocks, I promise we'll get to those soon. I'm trying to shoot through these. I'm like, oh god, footwork took longer than I wanted it to. Alright, so, we're going to start with left leg forward instead, or whatever your non-dominant leg is forward. Get into stance. To do this movement, this foot will kick out and around. This is going to be your pivot point. This is also why we don't want to be on our heels. Because if I'm flat-footed right now and I go to turn, you can see how my knee gets caught. If I'm on any surface better or worse than dirt, my knee will get caught to the point of popping something. They talk about when you're in dance with your partner, if you don't know how to move them properly and signal them properly, you'll injure them. I was like, that doesn't seem like that's really possible until I watched it happen to a few people in dance. So, same thing here. If you're on the balls of your feet, however, no matter what shoes you're wearing, it's pretty. It's a glide. You turn and you move. Alright? So a kick. I was like, is that a bug or a baby hummingbird? What was that? Was it a horsefly? I don't know what it was. I guess that's some weird bugs out this way, guys. Alright, so I'll shoot forward and I'll step. Then with your left one, so if you now that your left leg is, or I guess so, I start with left leg forward, right leg kicks forward, left leg is now back. Same thing. I shoot off with this back leg, I pivot on the front leg, and I turn. Alright, so go ahead and practice that, moving forward. If you land, you should be in a mirror of your other stance. But each time you land, check your feet. If you over kick, you'll end up in a line. Once you've reached the end, turn around, start coming back the other way. You'll notice how you'll cover a ton of distance with this one compared to just that little advance. My recommendation as well, although you land, pause, check, then move again, put some force into each kick, each shove forward.
Move with a purpose.
Yep.
That was the one.
Yep. You want to move with a purpose. It's going to make this a lot easier. If you just kind of slightly push a little bit off that back foot, now you're having your torso having to put a bunch of force into this. You want to get in the habit of hitting people with the ground. Yes, we know about hitting them with the ground by throwing them to the ground, but you can also hit them with the ground by using your full body mechanics into this. When I swing forward and I swing with my hips, I'm not just shoving my hand forward and striking. I am pushing with that back foot. I am turning. I am punching forward. There's about 7 or 8 things happening at one time. It also means when a duelist ref tries and says you didn't have enough points of contact or points of movement, you can be like, I moved here, 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 here, and here. And here too. They can't argue it. Yeah, you can say, I moved here too. Like, you can't say I didn't move.
This is like, you guys do sprints. They say, like, you don't want to go fast as, like, a priority, but you also don't want to push off the earth as a priority. I don't know if you know how much sprints you guys are doing. When you guys do sprints, it's you're pushing off. That's kind of what it feels like you're saying to me.
Yes, I'm pushing, so this back foot is pushing
like, a lot
off.
of people, when they sprint, they don't do that. They're like, oh, I just got to move my legs fast. It's like, no, you are pushing the earth away from you in your head, and suddenly your sprint gets way faster.
Yep. I actually like that a lot better, is pushing the earth away from you.
Yeah.
All right, start advancing down this way. One more time. I want to make sure I get a good look at everyone. Running up the line with your big toes crossing. Let's see, I totally remember.
Yeah, it gets so narrow.
All right, next, the retreat. Retreat works the same way. But this time, instead of shoving off with the back foot, you shove off with the front foot. So if I'm doing a retreat, my right leg is forward, so start with your dominant leg for this one. You'll shove off. And again, also don't forget your hands up here as well in your stance. Don't lose that while doing this. Shove off, and I'll land. Eventually, what's really funny with these sorts of advanced and retreats, it'll start to look a little bit like walking. It's a bit of a waddle of a walk, but it still looks a little bit more like a walk. You can have ones of power, and you can have ones of casual movement, regardless. What's up?
I noticed also your head stays perfectly, like it's not bobbing like a regular walk though.
Which is really funny. If you watch me walk normally, I'm bobbing all the time. I don't know where. They used to say in high school that they knew where I was in the hallway because they just looked at the head that was doing this. But yes.
That also goes alongside with I've learned to, and this is it helps with any sport, not just combat sports. If you move as if the ground is thin glass you don't want to break, it'll make you lighter in your movements. It also helps you keep your head steady.
So I haven't heard that reasoning, but I like that. So I was actually thinking about watching you guys walk around. I was like, should I discuss the not having your head up and down? Because that is good. The reason why you don't want your head bobbing is your head bobbing gives your opponent another tell. If you're constantly shifting straight, now I will say, this is if you're doing the exact same movement over and over. If you're actually watching me duel, there's a lot of this happening. I'm very dynamic, and my head will be moving a ton. But it's like, it's the thing that always got me in learning how to write. They're like, well, you'd be like, well, that author doesn't write that way. Like, how many authors follow any of the rules of the English language? None of them. Well, then your teacher's always like, well, you have to know the rules to break them. It's the same thing as this. If you can learn to keep your movement steady, you can then add another way to trick your opponent into being comfortable, and then you can suddenly hit them with some weird, unusual, and unorthodox things. So, what I want you all to practice now is that retreat. So you're gonna start retreating back towards me, towards here. I want you guys doing it 3 times. So 1, hit this wall, go back, hit that wall, then come back, hit that wall. The more you can make a semicircle with your kick, the better to start off with, because I'm going to teach y'all one other type of large advance and retreat that will be much more narrow.
Good job, Barry.
All right? Come back the other way. Doing it 3 times. One other critique that might help y'all before you guys do your last retreat. Give me 1 more second. When you're standing, one thing that'll help, I'm noticing, because some of you guys kind of have shaky legs. You're stable, but I would be curious to see what would happen if I hit you in the back of your knee, and how, or the side of your knee, where your knee would shift. If your knee is already set up with your, where you have a cave, so like when they talk about doing squats, usually people doing squats, the 2 ways you can tell if they have a muscle dysfunction somewhere is as they squat, if their legs go in like this, or as they squat, if their legs like bow out as well. The way to know what a good squat is, I mean, if I'm doing a normal wide squat, I just go down and I go steady, right? And as I do it, my knees stay in line, I go down, right? It's the same thing with your stance. Look down at your legs. Is your knee caving in, or is your knee following in line with your toes? If my toes turned in like this, even still, I will have my knee turned slightly out. Same with this one. This knee isn't kicked in like this. This knee is wide. Kind of think about that as well. And if you're having that problem, that may be to either having overly strong adductors or having some issues with abductors, or having some weakness in your glutes. There's all kinds of things that I can diagnose and figure out for that. But that's something to keep in mind. And that might, because some of you guys, like, I'll see you land, you're landing fine, but then like there's a shake. And I'm like, why is there a shake? And then I'll look at your knees and I'll see they're turned in. Or they're turned way too far out. So, things to keep in mind. All right, do your last retreat this way. Last full step retreat. Second, I'm trying to figure out about yours. Your legs are shaky, but your stance is solid.
I corrected it near the end, but for sure, like up in the middle, I was like, oh.
I'm seeing it a few times, trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I had to just slow down and then it was correct.
Drunken masteries.
Yeah.
That might be it. I mean, it might throw some people off. All right.
Another thing is I am consciously trying to balance myself with my big toes now because I have always been doing it with my pinky toes.
Yep.
That was an interesting.
When you, so one of the things that will literally strengthen your feet is getting your footwear to be both natural toe splay, not a wide shoe boot, but a natural toe splay shoe, and being flat. Because right now, when I touch the ground, I'm actually gripping it. Like my toes are doing this to the ground every time, and that actually can make a difference with not only like your deadlifts and your squats and like leg presses, all of it. It can make a difference with your curls, and it'll absolutely make a difference with your fighting. You may not every time grab it like a monkey, but it's kind of a fun trick to be able to take your feet and be able to pick shit up. And it does actually help with the entire chain of your legs.
You made spell workout.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I'll go more into like the workout stuff later, but that's just something to keep in mind. All right, next one's gonna be the moon step. So moon step is gonna be something that's gonna interest people that are more into the pro fight side of things, because a moon step can get you into or out of someone or around someone's guard to do something. So I'll use Michael again. So if I'm doing this moon step, I'm going into this attack. So I may want to get into his guard in some form or another. If I try and just do a full step, I'm probably going to land more like this, right? But if I can do a moon step, which involves my feet going in towards I go towards heel, go towards toe, I can then shoot in, and now I can come here, and now I can start to control him. That's one way I can do that. The other one is a different type of moon step as well. The other leg, I can then moon step in, here, and I have the hip toss, right? This can set you up for that. And it can be very deceptive as well, because when you were talking about with your head not moving or bobbing, all of a sudden, they just see your face is closer, but they don't realize your leg is now behind or in their position. That's where this moon step is good for. You can also use the moon step as a retreat. The moon step as a retreat is a fun one because it throws someone off. So like if he were to come at me and I moon step this way, I've now turned my body a different direction. I'm not moon stepping straight back. If I say I have this leg forward, I could moon step here, come around here, and turns more into a triangle, right? Changes angle, changes direction.
Can you show me the forward one again?
Sure.
Same
So,
footwork as a chain.
so the way to break it down is this.
Almost.
Big toe. Remember I said don't get your feet near each other? Yeah, break that entire rule for this whole thing. Let's clarify that right away for this one movement. Big toe kicks in towards heel, hits, and if you need the tactile cue, actually have it hit. Scrapes along the boot, kicks out. You will also notice this will change the direction of your feet. You might have your toes more forward now with this when you start doing this stance. I can't remember which martial art I grabbed this one from. It was karate.
I
I
was
remember
gonna
learning
say,
that
I think
in
this is
karate,
karate.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually think,
Because it makes you think of like also the same
Yeah.
crisscross thing of like when someone grabs a hold of your forearm, you're like ripping off the forearm. Because they'd also do karate and taekwondo at some point in my life, probably when I was a kid, and one in college. It was one in college and one when I was a kid. Don't remember which one was which. They don't seem much different to me. Then when I put my right leg forward, same thing. I kick in. If I were to go backwards, big toe goes in towards other big toe, scrapes across, hits heel, shoots out. Big toe goes in here, shoots in, scoots out.
That retreating one's the same as a check hook boxing too.
Yeah?
It's almost exactly the same, yeah.
I did not know that.
When you throw that, you're going like this. Backwards. I'll have to check that one. But
Probably while
what
we're
you're
doing it,
is
your
you're-
brain will like start picking it back up and be like, oh, that's how that
Yeah,
works.
it's you're trying to turn out to throw that hook.
Yes.
Like, I'm not very good at that one, but
There's one of the ones that I don't get to pull off very often, but I do remember Avalok teaching me is utilizing this step So like if I go into it and I see he's in a weak A-frame where like the center of his skull is more open, and I go into this hanging guard I'll be showing y'all later, I can moonstep here, and instead of going for that hook, I just pop. And it's a really funny one too, because he'll go to swing for my face from here. I block it, boom, now he's fully open. I just get a real solid headshot in. It can be really annoying to some people. And if you have like a low shield, like if you have like one of those punch shields that you keep at your leg, it's also a great one to use for that as well. It can be good against lefties. All right, so get back in your lines. Let's do moon step forward and backwards. Promise we're almost done with footwork. Fun stuff we get each other. I don't know, because the way that you were dancing before, this actually might be more natural for you. So, kick that in. Yep, towards there. Yep, and move it forward, up and down. So we're not. So sorry guys, I may have confused y'all with adding extra. Hey, this is where this would work and all that. We're not stepping forward or back to then shoot to the side. For now, we're just practicing going forwards and backwards.
Oh.
The way forward and backwards will look. So right now we're just going forwards. I kick in, I scrape, I move, I land. I kick in, I scrape, I move, I land. You also notice what's happening is I'm not like making this isn't a big amount of space going forward and backwards. I'm kind of coming in and then stepping slightly. It's like you'll feel yourself shift over to the side and land onto that hip. Shift out and I land on that hip. Shift out and I land on that hip, right? But your overall stance is one is the same. Try it. So kick in there. Yes. Yep. It's a little bit more linear, but overall, like the way you're doing it's more linear than it normally would be, but you're getting it. You are getting it. Now, also, when you guys are doing this,
Just don't go too linear.
to help with this, don't think about stepping in and landing. Think about stepping and gliding. It's really hard to show this, but if you look at my feet, when I'm doing this, see how my foot is just slightly above the ground? All my weight's on my left leg. And then this comes in, kicks in, and scrapes across the side of my foot. I don't step in, land, then step.
So it's just more of a traditional step, but
Yep.
keeping yourself in that stance.
Yep.
Kind of like drawing a scene. Overcomplicate it.
Yes. It's like the Dune, the Sandworm step. Sandworm step. It's actually exactly like that.
Thanks.
I hadn't thought about that. Appreciate that as a reference. All right. So let's do one more time towards me. Yep, you're making a half move. And all that metaphysical stuff. It's like doing magic. This is also really great for when I get into the longsword stuff and I start teaching you guys sword flow. Because you can learn to essentially dance with a sword, and it's really good for warming yourself up and getting your brain in the state of how to do this stuff. All right. Let's now step backwards. Honestly, that looked great for everyone. So stepping backwards. Same thing. I will bring this leg, we'll kick it towards this one. Typically, the way I tend to have it is I more so kind of have this foot up a little bit taller. It's not quite as flat. I hit, and I land. I hit, and I land. And if I'm doing this at a decent pace, you can see I'm literally just dancing side to side as I scoot backwards. I actually find, like, moon step, I really like for when I am trying to warm myself up for footwork. Because even if I lose balance like that, I can immediately shoot right back into something else. Alright. So start retreating towards me. Do one more time this way.
Your feet, your heels are lining up when you do it.
Backwards.
This would be
Sorry,
my
one more time backwards.
So,
Feels like lying too much.
so when you're
Someone's phone I dropped. I'm sorry.
they were recording that.
I'm sure it's recording. I think it's Ian's.
You need to pause real quick.
It's recording still. Sorry, dude.
Oh, you're good.